Hi friends, Shay here. So today we are doing a NetGalley check-in and try a chapter because I need to get to reading some of these NetGalley books. Some of the older ones. I think we're going to do a try chapter for the older ones. So, well, technically that's what I've done because I started this video yesterday. So let's flip back to yesterday, Shay, who is going to talk to you about the state of the NetGalley, and we'll talk about the first couple of books over there. So I'll meet you back when we're back on today. Okay, friends, so here is my NetGalley. I currently have 90 titles that I need to get read. A lot of these are older, so I'm going to be doing a try a chapter situation with those. I will go ahead and include that in this video. So let's go ahead and go to some of my oldest. Some of my oldest are some historical romances. I haven't been picking up a lot of that in the last few years. So I think that's a lot of why it has so much. So I do think picking those up is probably going to be my priority for the try a chapter. I might throw a couple of others in there as well. I've kind of got a list built that I talked about in another video that you'll see later. But yeah, so that's the last. I'm kind of going in reverse order of date because as you can see, I used to kind of just request anything and everything. But I feel like over the last year or so, I've gotten a lot pickier about what I'm requesting, especially towards the end of 2024, because we jump from the one title, like there were a handful of titles in October last year, one in December that I didn't get to, and then we immediately jumped to March of this year. I'm currently in the middle of The River Has Roots. The Prince Without Sorrow is one that I do plan on reading soon. I actually just need to write the review for Sweet Obsession, so I've already read that one. And then I have a couple that just came out that I'm going to be reading soon. Like the May ones are all ones I'm really excited about. I have none in June. I have just a handful in July and a couple in August. I do have a couple of things that I've also requested recently. And again, they're only things that I'm actively interested in reading soon. So again, I'm trying to kind of keep up with my current. I'm a tiny bit behind, but not too bad. And then from there, I try to get through the backlist. So let's go ahead and do that. Try a chapter for the backlist, and we'll talk about that. Okay, friends. So the first try a chapter was Dukes Do It Better by Bethany Bennett. I do love Bethany Bennett's writing. I really liked this first chapter. It very much established our two characters. They basically had a one-night stand before he went off to sea. He's been called back to take over his dukedom. She's headed back into London from her small cottage to deal with her father's death. And I'm pretty sure they'll run into each other in town. She's a single mother. She's told everybody in this town she's a widow, but she's not. It's one of those, she, had sex with someone who was of no note and got pregnant. And so she ran off to the countryside. As far as everybody in London knows, she's married to a nobody. And as far as everybody in the cottage town knows, she's a widow. So I don't know how this is going to play out. I do think they're going to reunite, and obviously things will go from there. But the rest of the plot, I'm not sure how that's going to play out. I am intrigued enough, so I would say I'm interested in it still. So I'm going to put like a priority list here to kind of let y'all know where I'm at on the hierarchy of the ones that I read. So let's move on to the next one. Next up here, we have The Return of the Duke. And this one is just okay. I had forgotten that this is like the second or third book in a series from her, where it's a son essentially seeking revenge for his father, who was tried for treason and found guilty and killed. But he's not smart enough to have found it out on his own. He shows up on his father's mistress's doorstep. And of course, there's an attraction between the two of them. I am much less interested in this now than I probably would have been had I read it at 3 years ago when it came out. But yeah, my interest on this is definitely going to be towards the bottom of my interest list, and I may even just not continue it and just let them know I'm not going to review it. I don't know. I'm going to think on that, but this is where it's sitting on the priority list. Alrighty. So after work yesterday, which is the last time you saw me as I was getting ready to head out to work, I didn't read anymore. I meant to. I took all the things with me. So we are now on the next day from the previous clip, the current day from the first clip, and we're going to read. We're going to do a bunch more triad chapters, and then we're going to talk about which ones I think I'm just going to let go and just cycle out of my NetGalley quickly, or which ones I want to read right away, which ones I want to read a little bit later. I'm going to have a whole breakdown of a list on the side of priority reads, and I'll probably divide them up, and if I'm not going to continue them, I'm going to state that in the list. So we will see how I feel by the end of this. I've picked out quite a few, so let's keep going. Okay, so I just finished Nobody's Princess, the first chapter for the triad chapter, and our hero is almost a little too whimsical for me. I mean, he's talking about how he wants to be a knight saving a princess, and clearly this is a woman who doesn't want to be saved from the title, and I don't know if I'll be able to handle his personality, so this one's low on the list. This is one I feel like I need a couple more chapters to really know, so it's not out of the running yet, but it's low on the priority list because the way I read him kind of read me, like, just kind of set me off a little bit, but I didn't get any of her POV in the first chapter, so her POV might save it, so we will see how that goes. Either way, I'm going to move on to the next one. Alrighty, next one is The Picture Bride by Lee Gumi, and this first chapter was actually very compelling for historical fiction. So this is one that's going to be high on my reading priority list. I'm really interested in the direction of this. Essentially, this is all about kind of like they're cutting them. I guess there was a thing at the time called Picture Brides, where a bunch of Korean men had gone to Hawaii to settle and make money and all those kinds of things. And after a while, they just wanted a bride from home, so a Korean bride. So traders would essentially come to town with pictures of these bridegrooms, and we've got, it looks like 2 different women who want to go to Hawaii to be brides. We're primarily focusing on one, but it's like her and her best friend that are going to go do this. So I'm really interested to see how this one's going to play out. Very high on the priority list. I hate that I've kind of sat on this as long as I have, but I'm still really excited to go. This is currently the top priority read of what I've read so far. Alrighty, so next up we have Some Dukes Have All the Luck. On this one's good. I always like Christina Britton's writing. I've never had a bad time with her writing. So this is one that's kind of in the middle. It didn't grab me in a first chapter, but I know and trust the author enough that I would continue. Again, it's probably going to land in the middle with this list, and I'm really excited to, get a taste and a flavor for it. The only one that's stuck out so far is The Picture Bride, so obviously that's still at the top. But yeah, I'm still intrigued enough to continue, and we'll go from there. Alrighty, another one down. This one is Jezebel, and this one, it's just strictly a writing thing. The writing is not clicking with me, so I'm probably gonna pass on this one. Like, the story and concept are still great, But for me, the writing just kind of set me off. I can't even place exactly why, but if the writing's already rubbing me wrong in the first chapter, that's not a good sign for me. So I'm going to go ahead and send that one on rather than like blasting it negatively. It's just not for me, and that's fine. I come across this with historical fiction more than anything. Let's move on to the next one. Sorry, my battery died and my spare didn't charge, so we're back on the phone. Sorry about that. But I did just read Portrait of a Duchess, and I'm really excited about this one. It's probably second to The Picture Bride for me right now. This one is, there's a Duchess and a Duke. She's basically been living as she's wanted for the last 20 years because they had a marriage of convenience. And now it's come back. Their cause needs money. Her uncle has passed away. He's left the sum of 5,000 pounds, which in a historical romance is a lot of money and more than what they need to do what they want to do. If she's married and settled in holy matrimony, it's been sanctioned, blah, 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 blah. And so this man that she was married to is now a duke. And he's like, we need to publicly tell people so you can get your inheritance. And yeah, so it's great because the chemistry is already there on page. I'm really excited about it. And I haven't been excited about a historical romance like this in a hot minute. So leave it to Scarlett Peckham to do that to me. But yes, very excited about that one. We've got 3 more triad chapters and then we'll wrap things up. Okay, next up here we have Medusa Sisters. So I read the prologue and about half of the first chapter, and the writing is setting me off. Again, it's another one of those things where I can't quite put why. It's just, this one's a little too monologue-y. I'm not like other girls feeling to me, I think, in the writing. And it's trying to stand out, and it's not standing out in a good way for me. So this is one I might revisit later. But as of right now, the writing style is not working for me, so it's going to go. Alrighty, so here we are again. Just did the Water Outlaws. This one's very intriguing because this is about like women with military might and magical power in a fantasy historical setting. And I was very intrigued by that first chapter and the demonstration of power and about the discipline of our main character. A lot of it's just very intriguing to me. So that is one that, again, is on my list. I don't think it's going to be the highest on my list, but it's definitely going to be in the high middle. All right. So Book of Thorns, it has a sapphic element to it that was a pleasant surprise that I didn't know was there. So yay, we love it. And basically the first chapter was very jarring. So again, this is going to be low, middle, not a high priority, but this is one I would come back to maybe in June to see if it leans into the LGBT elements a little bit more. I'm going to do a little more research on that part of the story to see if anybody else talks about it in their reviews and stuff. But I'm intrigued enough to keep it on the list. But again, it's on the low priority because I didn't necessarily love how the first chapter was playing out. So, but the writing is compelling. So I do want to keep it on my list. Okay, friends. So final thoughts here. So I'm really pleased with how this triad chapter went. I think it's really going to help me with my NetGalley score. And you're going to see more on this next week in a vlog. So be prepared for that coming up. So here's the final breakdown. I have 4 that I have decided I'm not going to continue or review. They are officially DNFs for me. And then I've got 6. I've got 2 that I'm super excited about and some others that I'm in the middle about. So I'm really excited. You'll probably see the 2 that I'm excited about in this next vlog, as well as some others that I've finished recently or will be finishing. Mostly I want to get a couple of these older ones done so I can read some of my new shinies. So that's going to kind of be the plan. So look forward to that vlog. If you are here just because you love me, go ahead and leave me a sunshine emoji. It's very nice outside and it's starting to actually feel like spring moving into summer because spring doesn't last long where I live. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.